Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome to another episode of She Said, He Said. I'm your host, Rob. I have two very, very, very special guests here that I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Neka.
And I'm Wes.
We
Is
have
that
what?
a hot sauce bottle
What?
Yeah,
Where?
it's a pin.
in your hand?
That Nika and Wes. Nika being one of my closest friends. You might have heard me mention her in one of my past podcasts when we were talking about friends, having female friends when you're in a relationship, or the opinions of friends in your relationship, and that is her wonderful husband Wes. So I have a legitimate couple on here to talk about these topics. How was you all's week? Did y'all have a good week this week?
Long and busy.
I don't know. I gotta check my schedule. I forgot what this week was.
The previous
Oh, it was good. It was good. We had the first Monday off. Martin
Okay.
Luther King Jr.'s birthday.
Yeah.
That was off.
Okay.
I worked though.
I did too.
Uh-huh.
I did.
You work too? Y'all don't get that day off?
Nah, I work my other job.
Oh, okay.
You
It
know,
was
I got-
busy.
Yeah. As always, but we're adults, so
We were adulting this week.
yeah, that's a thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have two topics we're actually gonna go over with. The first being one that my guest Nika came up with, which is an awesome one. Nika, go ahead and introduce your topic.
Well, the topic is commonalities versus value in a relationship.
I wish I could see her face. Okay, can you break down what a commonality is and what a value is for the people who may not know?
So, upon meeting someone that you're interested in, or you decide that maybe you want to start dating, a lot of us go through this whole, oh, he likes this, she likes this, we have so much in common, and that's great. So that would be the commonality, just factual things that you both enjoy together. And then you have values, which are things that make you who you are, whether it's your goals or your religious background or your political stance, etc. So just kind of seeing the difference between how those things weigh in when you're choosing a mate.
Mhm.
Wow, that sounds very sophisticated. So, let us get into it. Me personally, let me think about my extensive background in dating. No,
Oh, it's expensive.
it's really not. I think you have to have a balance of both. Just thinking about me and my life and all the stuff that I'm into, the commonality piece, I think, for me is a bit more important than sorry y'all can't see what I'm seeing. It's a bit more important than I think it would be for the average person, because I'm into nerdy stuff. Like, I'm into video games, I'm into anime, I go to comic conventions, I like DJing, so I'm into a lot of stuff that some people may think is quote unquote childish, but I laugh when people say that to me, because I'm like, the video game industry is $1 billion industry. The comic book industry and entertainment industry is, they're $1 billion industries, so there's a lot of money to be made there. So for you to think it's childish, honestly, if I'm with someone, I would hope that she has some common interest with me there, because I haven't been with anyone who hasn't. My last girlfriend was a little bit of a gamer. She had a Nintendo Wii, and we would play games sometimes, but I would get
I
frustrated.
had a Nintendo Wii too.
I remember we used to play golf all the time. I still have a video of you playing golf. It was hilarious.
You do?
You were so serious. But yeah, for me, that's where the commonalities come in play, because I'm gonna need for her to understand why I'm up watching, Psychopaths at 2 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep. I don't want her to think it's just like the Flintstones. It's a deeper storyline with anime. But values, whew, that's equally that's more important, because values are the things that are going to trickle down to your children. So, and yeah, I need to know that I'm with someone who has the right values and that they align with mine, because that can create a lot of conflict as well.
Interesting. I think the values for my sake, the values have to supersede the commonalities because you can be with someone who I'll give an example. I'll put myself out there. I'm throwing my man card out, but I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not really into sports anymore. I could care less.
I'm with you.
And it's more because when I was really into it, like high school, college, I had more time. So now, like my favorite basketball team, the Bulls. I only know like 3 or 4 players because they keep trading. It's the nature of the game now.
Yeah.
So like with everything, it's like it's irrelevant. I don't care if a game is on unless it's like, Dallas is playing. Oh, it's a big ticket game. I know. I'm a disloyal Dallas fan, but it's okay. but like but music. So Neka is all into football. She's the one who's in fantasy football. She's all, but that's not really a conflict. I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's watching football again. We could be listening to music. It's like you can coincide together though.
That happened to me. That happened to me with
really?
One of my commonalities. They got my ex used to get mad because, oh, you're playing the game and we could be doing this, that, and the third. And then you piss me off because I quit playing the game so much, and then you don't ever have anything for us to do. It's like, okay, here's the time you asked for. Oh, I didn't think you were gonna do that. Well, I did it. So what are we doing? We're gonna sit here and watch this. Yeah, we're gonna sit here and watch this stale TV show. Absolutely not. I gotta go up here and kill these demons. What's wrong with you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Sometimes people's things, their hobbies or their interests consumes their life. And so when you're in a relationship, you have, like yourself, Robbie, you're gaming. I mean, you have so many different things that you're doing. Your hands are in so many different things, and your mind goes a mile a minute. Like every time I talk to you, you're into there's another angle that you're turning in this huge like circle. It's so many different lines. I don't even know if it's enough lines to fit in, one big old picture. So I can understand when someone's like, hey,
yes,
see me, I want to spend a little bit of time with you.
I think that's different from like being in tunnel vision and like not enjoying the same things, because you can coincide. One person doing one thing, they enjoy another person, and then you all decide to come together and do something together.
Well, that's true.
But it's a little different when it's like, tunnel vision, I understand. You just ignore the other person.
But I think that's the problem with people who jump into relationships or dating situations with people who they give their all to. Like we have this in common and we do this together and we this together. Well, these things change over time. So what I'm interested in now, I might not be interested in 2-3 years, or it may have evolved into something that I'm not that I don't care for. And so are you still stuck on, we had all of these things in common and now we don't have anything in common?
You know what? But the funny thing is, I've heard a lot of people who broke up, they quote unquote grew apart because of those things. Like they quit, they didn't take the time to find a new thing. Like their commonalities became the basis for the relationship, which is why I see why that's a problem. Because when you grow out of something, then it's like, well, what do we have outside of that? Which is where the values come in. And Neka, I'm not as all over the place as I used to be. I'm much more. The stuff that I do now is like, that's it. Like those were growing pains. I had to learn myself. So the stuff that I do now, I'm very consistent with. This show, for example, I started a year ago, almost a year ago, and it's just pieces and opportunities just kept coming my way in regards to the show. I had to weigh it, so like, do I have time for it and space for it? Bam, threw it in there. And back to another thing you said, that's why I'm not gonna say off dating. I'll go on dates, but as far as a relationship, I know that I have to cut down some of the things that I'm doing for those exact reasons that you said. Like, she's gonna need that dedicated time, because I'm one hell of a boyfriend. I already know that. I have an excellent track record. I don't care what anybody says. But I do know that I'm looking at my quote unquote activity board, and I'm looking at my career, I'm looking at DJing, I'm looking at my personal stuff, I'm looking at my gaming stuff. I don't even have room for the podcast stuff that I do. So I do have a lot going on, but I do know what's necessary and what isn't necessary, and what I can scale back and what I can't. And that's where it's hard for me when it comes to a relationship, and that's where the values come in. I need someone who can value vision and hard work and understand it. And it's a mixture of a commonality, because if you've never really worked hard or had to work hard, you kind of don't get it. It's kind of like, why are you working so hard? I don't have what you have. Like, right. So
I think there's a disconnect when people are in that getting to know you stage. Their idea of getting to know a person is to know what they're doing and what they like and their interests. Whereas, I think we all agree that those things change, or those things fade or evolve over time the longer you're with a person. Versus, hey,
what's important to you?
I'm a hardworking guy. Like, I have a lot of vision. I have a lot of motivation. I'm always looking to try something different. These are the things that I'm interested in. This is what I'm centering and focusing my life on. Can you get with that program? Versus saying, oh yeah, I like to DJ and I like to teach and I'm in this. And people look at those as like, oh, well, he got money. He's trying to get money. He's got a side hustle. He like new. People just look at these things as like, facts. Yeah. Boom, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. But you don't see the qualities behind the person and what they're doing.
It's like people want your social media profile, and that's it. Like, they're satisfied with that. Oh, so that's what you're all about. No, you have to actually know what I'm all about. You gotta get to know me. We gotta converse, have some real meaningful conversation, not a text message. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So my previous relationship, it was based on commonalities, and that went to the pits. But
to say the least.
It went to the pits, and that was one of the things that I had to reflect on as I was moving away from that relationship. How did I get to this point? It didn't take long into the situation to realize that we just appreciated the same things or had some things in common. We both like football, we both like fantasy, we both like going out, we both like eating out, and we like those little things about each other and what we could do together. But as far as value, there was no real substance or value in our relationship at all. And I think part of the reason is because one or both of the individuals, myself, I was still learning value, but the other individual still didn't have a concept of what value was. There was no goals. There were these superficial, I know I want to have kids and I want to be married, and well, how many kids you want? Why do you want kids? What are we going to do with our kids? How are we going to raise our kids, teach our kids? What values and moral standings are we going to instill in our children? Those are the things that if you're dating or you're looking to be in a relationship, those are the things that matter. You don't want to be with a person, for 5, 6, 7 years thinking that they want kids and they don't want any kids. Or, those are the type things that it came out. We don't share the same value. I have an appreciation for spiritual things. You don't know nothing about the Bible and can care less. So those type things really started putting a damper on our relationship, and it helped me to look beyond the common. When I started in West, it was like, look, let me tell you, I don't really care that our favorite color together is green. I don't care that you like this type of food, but this is what I have. I have 2 kids. How are you going to help me raise my kids? What can you bring to the table in that perspective? Where are we going to be 5 years from now? Like, what are we trying to do? What's our ultimate goal? Because if those things are not on the same page, then it doesn't matter how many things we have in common. But it was a reality check that I don't know if it's growth and age that helps, or if it's someone just saying, hey, cut the crap. Nobody cares that both of you guys have the same favorite color, blue. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares that both of you like football. Nobody cares that both of y'all like to hang out and drink and love a gin and tonic. Nobody cares about that anymore. Like, who's making money, who's working, how long we're going to work, when we vacation, if we're going to have kids. Those are the things that matter now.
And I hate to say it, like it's commonalities verse values.
Yeah.
But the more your values are, the more importance your values have, then the commonalities fade out. Because you can always see the superficial. This person's fly, they dress nice, they got a nice car,
Mm-hmm.
they doing this. But then when they get to a real house, do they cut the grass? Do they know how to fix anything? I mean, like,
True.
when things happen, are they really going to step up and be that man or woman, or are they just going to look nice? Oh, what are you going to do about, you know what I mean? So you got to see what's really inside. What are you made of?
You know what? I went through a lot of that, and it wasn't, what I found out wasn't pretty. But it's all a learning experience, all growth. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a quick commercial break. And after a word from our sponsors, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back. Y'all can hear me? Make sure we good.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what? Next time I'm just gonna probably stop and do two separate. I don't know. Anyway, all right, we're back. So we were talking about commonality. Well, let's say commonalities and values, because they both play a part. But I think it's safe to say that values end up outweighing the commonalities. And yeah, and the scary part about values though is I think some people hide them because they try to see what yours are first, to try to match them. It's like, yo, let me see what he's really like, and or they start asking them sideways questions. Because I mean, I'm a direct person, and I'm real. When I'm into someone, it's easy for me to read them. And one of the biggest giveaways I think women do all the time, they'll start asking you a lot of questions about something, which means they're either bothered by something or they just don't know how to come out and say that they got a problem with it. So that's one of the
Please give an example of that, Robert.
Okay, so me and my ex I went to her church one time, and then we went to my church. My church was much further away from where we're living. Like, I'm talking like 25 minutes, like downtown. And so we're driving back. It's like, oh, do you like this church? I was like, yeah, my grandmother was a pastor. I went to this church every summer. Like, I grew up in this church. Like, when I go to church, this is where I go. I'm not really a church hopping type of person. It's like, oh, okay. Do you like the programs that they have? Yeah, they have great programs. I said I'm too busy to go to half of them, but yeah, they're great programs. Oh, okay. You a member, right? Yes, I'm a member of this church. I'm like, so when I hear this, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's coming. So when we have kids, I was like, okay, so you can see our kids going to this church and see our family growing up in the church. And I was like, yeah, they have great programs for kids. They always take them on trips, this, that, and the third. Well, what do you think about the distance? I mean, it's kind of far. I'm like, what if the weather's bad? So I just stopped her. I'm like, yo, just ask the real question. Like, you asked me 85 questions to get to the real question. Her question ended up really being is, would you be open to changing churches or go to a different church? Did y'all mute? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, she was basically wanting to know if I would be willing to change churches or go to a different church. And she was basically scared to ask me that. So that's one example of where a value comes into play, and it didn't cause an issue or anything like that, but I'm like, I'm open-minded like that. So she felt like I was set in stone because I went to this church growing up and stuff like that I would never leave it. And I'm like, no, I would look at our relationship and look at where we are and do what's best for the relationship, because I do understand that that's difficult to drive all the way across town for programs and stuff like that when her church was closer and she was a bit more comfortable there. But that would have been if we would have made it further down the road, it would have been a different conversation too, because I would have had to have a connection, at that church too. But there were other things as well, but that was just one that I could think of off the top of my head.
Well, some people are more straightforward, so I don't know. That wouldn't have been an issue with certain people I've dealt with, but I forgot what I was about to add. I was about to say something, but I forgot it.
The problem is people are not straightforward. You're right. People don't just come right out and say, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna be comfortable with this situation, or I know this is what you like, but maybe we can find something together that we both like. I mean, people are I don't know if you have these people who will do anything to try to change the other individual in a situation, and then you have some people that are like the total opposite, that are so not willing to change, or don't want to be labeled as trying to change the person, that they're not even willing to speak up and say, hey, I don't like this. So they just kind of go with the flow. And it's like, why are you complacent in your relationship? Like, if this is something that you don't like, or something that you would like to do differently, then say it. I mean, there's such a bad stigma with this. You trying to change me? I agree. Man up, get your life together. Nobody's trying to change you. And we're trying to do something together. It's something that I don't like. It's something I'm not comfortable with. I should be able to tell you that, and I should be able to say, well, if that's something that you want to do, then that's cool. But it's not something that I want to do because I'm not comfortable with it. Now, either we can do something together, or you can do what you do and I'll be doing what I do. But yeah.
You know what cracks me up about the whole change thing? When you're single, you only have to worry about yourself. You're by yourself. When you're in a relationship, you're involving someone else in their life. How could you not expect things to change? How can you expect not to have to make certain changes for this person? I don't get that with guys and girls. I'm like, oh, they trying to change me. Well, yeah, someone else's life is involved now. Their time is involved now. Their energy, effort, and money is involved now. So yeah, maybe you need to do things differently, you know, but I don't know.
I don't know. I was, you know, to be honest, I was that type of person, but it wasn't so much of changing like the way I do things, or maybe my schedule, or maybe changing my routine. That's what I was trying to say.
Word.
But it was like when people would try to change your personality. So so we were just talking about being straightforward, right? Mm-hmm. I'm usually always a straightforward person. Sometimes too straightforward. Like I wasn't tactful. So people were like, why are you saying it like that? Why? I said, because it's true. Because it's true. I mean, why?
He is minimizing significantly.
No, if you ask me a simple question, do you like those shoes? No. Well, why not? I don't like them because they're ugly. That's so mean. You ask me. You ask me. Then why? If you don't want the answer, don't ask me. That's all I'm saying. So stuff like that. Like people will want you to stop being straightforward. They want you to start sugarcoating things because it's more politically correct, I guess. I'm like, no, you ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. If you don't want me to answer it, then I won't answer. You know, that's kind of like what I had to deal with. So that whole, like, I now remember what you matching, people trying to match you. Mm-hmm. So you may ask a question, or they ask you a question. Oh, so how do you feel about such and such? Oh yeah, me too. Then they start becoming like a yes man. Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. Just to match you. Like, nah, there's something wrong here. So then you have to start asking the right questions that you know will trigger a true response from them, and then you can, you know, it doesn't have to be a game. Like, you know, if people were actually straight up and honest, it wouldn't be such a game going. You won't have to ask certain questions just to get to the real question because they're hiding the truth, you know. So
I agree. Well, Neka, you got anything else on this topic?
I just wish that people would grow up earlier.
Yep.
When it comes to this dating game, and start, you know, focusing more on the person as a whole instead of what the person likes and what the person does. I think we get much further if we start looking at people for who they genuinely are, mm-hmm. instead of having these rose-colored glasses. You know, it will save you time and headache and a lot of stress. You see so many people in these relationships that are kind of stuck in these relationships because of the mentality in which they went into their relationship. So just, you know, we need to value up, start looking at things for what it is, and learning ourselves too.
Yeah.
Like if we don't figure out who we are and what we want, then we'll be running around in circles chasing our tails, forever.
And in order to do that, people, you got to be willing and open to try new things. Like Neka said about me earlier, I used to be all over the place because I really didn't know what I wanted. And now I'm focused and I know what I want and I'm doing it. It just happens to be a lot. But I'm about to take one huge thing off of my plate so I can get back to some normalcy in my life. And once I'm able to do that, then I think my social life and my love life will get a heck of a lot better, because I'm Mr. Busy. Like, people just wait for me to call them and they don't even get mad anymore. Like, I used to get so much flack for that, but after a while they kind of saw, like, yo, that's who he is. Like, it's not that he's ignoring me or he's just like, that's who he is. Like, that's his thing. So he'll call me when he wants to talk to me, and that's pretty much how it works. So, Wes, anything else from you?
Yeah, I do have one last thing. So you have
wait,
to
hold on. Let's go ahead and knock out this last commercial break before we wrap it up. So, y'all, we're gonna give you another quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with you shortly. All right, and we are back. We were wrapping up. We just had Neka's wrap up about values and commonalities. Now we're going to hear from Wes before we get on out.
All right, one last thing. So you have to ask, one value that's real important is unselfishness. What's your level of unselfishness? I think that's a common theme in any relationship. We're all selfish. I mean, we're all selfish, but how unselfish are you willing to forego your own personal comforts, interests, likes for the other person?
Great.
That's such. That right there, I think, is why my last relationship ended. Wasn't a bad ending. It was just an ending, and I think that was the biggest glaring issue. And I think there has to be, when it comes to that, there has to be balance, man. If you see somebody trying and making those sacrifices for you, and they ask the same of you, if you're not willing to do the same thing, or you recognize within yourself you're not willing to do the same thing, don't drag that person along any further. Like, you got to be willing to do that. Don't ask. And I hear this phrase, and it's funny, but don't ask someone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. And I think when you hear that phrase, don't take it literal, but in a sense, this person is don't ask someone to put themselves in an uncomfortable position or to give up something for you if you're not willing to do that from them. It doesn't mean word for word, I want you to skateboard down this hill. Like, you know what I mean? I think people take it like that, but that's you, man. You hit the nail on the head, and that's one thing I've learned about myself. I'm a big giver, and I had to learn to scale that back a whole lot, because people will take.
Oh,
and then when I'm like, yo, can I have some? And it's like, you can get this crumb right here, though. So, all right, everyone. This has been another episode of She Said, He Said. I want to thank my lovely, lovely guests, Neka and Wes. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And we will see y'all next time on She Said, He Said. Peace.
Peace.